Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Juniper Veil. I have my trusty little 88 Miracles or 88 Crystals. I've seen it mentioned both ways. Tarot cards with me today. These are the first tarot card deck I bought. They're still kind of like my go-to. So today I want to do the first 4 weeks or the 4 weeks of January 2026. I'm going to do it, I guess, for the United States. I mean, it could also include the world. Everything's connected, right? But I guess I'm going to do it from the view of somebody living in the United States. Um, I'm going to do the 5 cards for each week. I'm going to include, let's see, the first, second, and third, since the first is a Thursday, and I'm going to start the week on a Sunday. So I'll include the first, second, and third within the first week. So the first week will be a little bit longer than the rest of the weeks. This way I won't hopefully run out of room. So today is the day after Christmas, Boxing Day. So it's December 26th, 2025. Right now for me, it is about 6:15 p.m. Eastern time. It is sleeting outside. We're expecting a lot of snow, so let us get started. I'm not going to do reversals. I did check to make sure there's no reversals. Okay. So let me do some shuffling. I like doing the weekly. It's a lot of cards. And as a newbie, it's a lot for me to sort of put together, but I like the challenge. Hopefully I'm getting a bit better. Let me make sure these, okay. I just want to make sure I wasn't accidentally reversing them. I noticed that some people, when they do this or when they, are about to lay their cards, they do look at the 2 bottom cards. I don't know what that means exactly, so I'll have to ask. If anybody knows, please let me know in the comments what that means to look at the 2 bottom cards of the deck. I'd also like to do another Celtic cross like I did in a previous video again. That was a lot of fun. I liked seeing how it tells a story, so that was very interesting. All right, so let's do the month of January 2026 for the United States. 5 cards for each week for entertainment purposes only. I did a Trump one yesterday that's posted. And for him, it was pretty much same old, same as usual. Him doing what he does. So we'll see how this looks for the view of somebody within the United States of January 2026. Okay. So first week, the Sunday is the 4th, I believe. So this is going to be from the 1st to the 10th. We have the Knight of Cups bringing, looks like some type of news. The 9 of Pentacles, we're holding that money, right? Which is very interesting because I got that for Trump as well. The 2 of Cups, or the Justice, which is nice, and the 2 of Cups, and then the Star. The Star always confuses me as a card. I don't know why. It just doesn't always feel completely clear to me what it means, or it could just mean so many different things. And what I like about the Star is that she is pouring, right? She has 2 jugs. She's pouring at the same time. And then you have the 2 of Cups. You have the Knight of Cups. So the Knight of Cups, he is full force on his way delivering this cup There you go. And when we think of cups, that's another one that I tend to not be able to remember that well are cups. It's so strange. I So there's definitely things that I need to focus more on, but I'm always wondering like why is it that um certain cards they just don't stick with me, you know what I mean? Um so like I said, he is like a messenger. The horse is rearing up. He's more in touch with his emotions and intuition than the other knights. So sometimes people kind of think of this as a romantic sort of card. I'm not thinking of it that way. I'm just seeing it more as like a messenger, but also a messenger regarding intuition. When we're talking about cups, we are talking about emotions, and now I remember that, and creativity. Um, we do have our water element as well. So the Knight of Cups is delivering some type of message. There is going to be a message delivered. And then we have the Nine of Pentacles. I love this card for the Nine of Pentacles because here is a bird. They are bringing all these pentacles into their nest. So they are safekeeping their money. Could also be knowledge. Somebody safekeeping something. Um, I very much like the illustration on this card. So somebody is either hoarding or somebody is thinking ahead, thinking about what they need to do with money. And then justice, right? Justice, we kind of, justice is it's pretty easy to think of. Something is going to happen where we either get justice or justice goes into play. I like to think of it as when I get the justice card that we are somebody's getting justice about something. It's happening. Does it go the way you want it to? Depends on which side you're on. I was watching a video. I didn't get to watch the whole thing. There's somebody who goes through the tarot cards, and I have to look up her channel again. So I'm going to have to look in my history because she has a whole video on the importance of the headwear that is shown in tarot. So that was really interesting too. I just wanted to put that as an aside. Now, which way is justice going? We have the Two of Cups. So this is a decision. Well, it's not necessarily a decision. It's like a sharing, right? We have one cup flowing into the other. So is this a sharing of intuition, creativity? Does this have to do with I I when I look at this one because we have the Knight of Cups here, I feel like going to be a sharing of whatever information, even though this isn't a pentacle. I feel like there is going to be some sharing of whatever is being delivered here, which is why sometimes with the cups, I don't feel like I get a very concrete idea of what is happening. Um, if it was the pentacles, I would say it's a knowledge. If it was something like swords, I would imagine there's some type of fighting going on, something. It doesn't have to be like physical fighting. Um, and then we have the star. Why does the star always confuse me? I might have to cover her up a little bit. I don't know. YouTube might not like certain things. So you can't see because it's behind my thumb, but she is pouring two jugs. She has one jug into the water, one jug on the land, and then she has the star above her. I'm going to put this here. So YouTube hopefully doesn't get mad at me. And the star is one of those cards that it just never really sticks with me. And I don't know what it is about the star. I feel like I need to do some thinking into that, or ask around to other readers and just be like, why does, or do you have some certain cards that just don't stick with you? Um, and I'd like to get their opinion. So if anybody who does read cards and you are watching this and that you've had that also happen to you, please let me know. Please leave a comment. The star we're looking at, optimism, hope, spirituality, health, well-being, peace, wishes, success, balance. So the star shows a woman who has that inner strength and also spiritual abilities, but she's also practical, right? She has one foot in the water, one foot on the ground. She's practical, but she's also spiritual. Star can also represent the chakras, renewed strength, ability to carry on. Since it follows the Tower card's trauma as well, this is kind of like a little bit of a rebirth card, or at least a healing. Need to have courage. So I think there's some type of message coming in. What that message is, I'm not 100% sure because of the cups and then the pentacles. Pentacles, there's either, I mean, is it a message of we're finding out that somebody is hoarding money? I mean, that would make sense to my previous reading with Trump, as for his reading, all he seemed to be concerned about in January was money. Money, 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 making more money. Um, I think we're going to see some type of justice coming through, whether it's something from the Supreme Court or somebody is getting sued. We already had the Supreme Court tell him that he can't bring the National Guard to Chicago. So is the Supreme Court going to then also bring down more no-nos on Trump? The Two of Cups. Let me look at the Two of Cups again, just to make sure I'm not missing something, because I feel like I'm missing something. But I also need to pull more cards, because usually after a while, that's how it brings everything together for me. We are thinking about exchange, ceremony. We're thinking of negotiations, trade, cosmic energy, protection, proper conduct, duality. It's a very positive card, especially for relationships or business or otherwise. So there's a strong connection and there's a balance, because we see that sharing, right? We see that sharing of the water, and magically this water is going so nice, right? So I think that's good for seeing after justice. So we have the Justice card and then we have the Two of Cups. I think that means there's more of a balance being made. I think money is being hoarded. By who? Probably the government. There's money being hoarded, but I think there's going to be a change and within the first week of January, so that that money actually goes to a lot more places that it's supposed to. And that's why I think we have the star. I think the star is going to help to make sure that that money is balanced. There's a practicality about it. So I think that's what's coming in the first week of January. So second week of January, this is starting January 11th. We have the Page of Cups, the Queen of Cups, a lot of cups. They're messing with me because they're like, you're not very strong with cups, so we're going to give you lots of cups. See, look, more cups. Four of Cups, the World, and the Ten of Pentacles. Let me cover that up. There you go. Thank you, Ten of Pentacles. The Page of Cups, right? Pages are naive. Cups, we're looking at intuition. We're looking at emotion. The page here, right? He's seeing a fish come out of his cup. He's like, wow, that's amazing, right? It's a very magical, odd, maybe in a way. Queen of Cups, where queens are very strong. Could this be a person or could this just be a general overtone? Not 100% sure yet. So the queen is strong in her intuition, the Queen of Cups. The Four of Cups is always my trump card because it looks like a whiny baby. So this person here, they have four cups. One fell over. So they still have three good cups, but he's pouting. Still pouting, pouting, pouting because he lost a cup. Um, then we have the world. So the world card, of course, is considering something that is affecting the entire world, I think. Then we have the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles to me is that's a completion because it's a 10. It's concerning either money or knowledge. What I like about this card, like the Nine of Pentacles, is that it's like a tree. So you're thinking a lot of times you think of inheritance, a family tree. These pentacles are well established. Old money, maybe. There's so much of it, it's even falling to the ground. So, what does that mean? What does that mean? It's kind of interesting because it's like I see these three cards. This is my trump. If these two are pentacles, I would think of them as like Baron and Melania, but they're not pentacles. I don't know if I would consider Baron or Melania as cups, but I also don't know that much about Baron. This is entertainment purposes only. Um, but it wouldn't surprise me if he was just like a Trump and he was concerned with money. Um, so for those cups here and those cups, that's like a messenger. This is like a sharing here. I think there's going to be a sharing of, this is why I go back to that idea of where sometimes cups, they just don't work for me. Like I see them in the minor arcana. There's a lot of them. But then when I really think about them, it's like, I don't know. They just don't fit in practically enough for me to sometimes come up with this idea. But because a lot of times when I do tarot, like I really don't get much intuition that says to me romance or love. Like I just don't see that. Probably because I do a lot of political tarot, so like it doesn't jump out to me like that. Um, but we can also think of the cups as culture, intuition, the unconscious, kindness, compassion, which would be very good. Which is odd that I would say that Trump is a cup, but it's mainly because of that look on his face and him acting like a child, right? So to me, this is Trump because he still has all this goodness behind him, but he's just focusing on the bad. So he just doesn't understand. He doesn't have the intuition. I don't think he doesn't. He wants the comfort, but they all have to be upright and good for him to feel like he has the comfort. He doesn't. He doesn't feel that way. Um, let's see. The Page of Cups pages, like I said, they're pretty naive. They're kind of relaxed. They can be androgynous, so it doesn't have to be a man or a woman. But they're usually a young person. There's something emotional going on with all these cups. Or there's something culturally changing. Or there's some vulnerability. That's what's so weird about these cups. How do they fit in best? And then when the queens, like I said, the queens, they are creative, they are strong, highly psychic, this queen with her cups. Loving. Yeah. They definitely can't be Melania and Baron. It's just not them, or it's not how we see them, right? It's not how the public sees them. So there is, I think what this means is it's coming together. Since there is some justice, which creates more balance, right? We have more stability and more things I think make sense because the star is 1 foot in water, 1 foot in ground. I think what we're going to see is I think we're going to see a better outcome and support for children and women, especially mothers. It's going to come at the expense of Trump. He's going to be upset. But the world is going to see this. And I think the 10 of Pentacles is that support by way of money to children, mothers. When we're thinking about people who are going to suffer the worst when with the cut in benefits, it's going to be children and mothers. Um, so I think there's going to be a bit of a turnaround here. Trump's not going to be happy about it because he's going to see himself as losing money that's not his, but he thinks all money is his. So I think that's what's going to happen. So I think that's good. I think there's going to be a pull from old coffers in order to get some funding back that we need. Is this going to be all the funding? Probably not. It's going to take a while, I think, for us to get back to that point. So the next week, I said this was the 11th. We're looking at the week of the 18th. We have the Hierophant, the Eight of Swords, the 10 of Cups, the 9 of Cups, and the 5 of Wands. Now the spirit is just messing with me because they're like, haha, you can't figure out cups, so we're gonna really put them on you. And that's okay. I'm always up for a challenge. So the Hierophant, that could be religious authority, could be government authority. There's been a lot of talk lately about the Pope speaking up, so I wonder if that has anything to do with it. The Eight of Swords, you can tell she's tied up and she has all these swords pointing at her, kind of like held prisoner. When I see this, it makes me think of the E-Files because of the um, young women that were basically held captive and young men. 10 of Cups, that's the completion. We have happy family. We have mother, father, baby. Everybody's doing well. So that's good. I think this is saying that whatever was done during the first week is going to help children, mothers, and that's going to help families. So that's good. I think that's good. The 9 of Cups, look at this guy. So miserly. He's like, I got all these cups and they're all mine. This is just a jerk. This looks like Trump again, he's just being jerk. But it might not be Trump. I think it's more along the lines of wherever the money is coming from for the family, it's probably a well-established set of people, maybe corporations, I don't know, who feel that the money should be theirs and they're not happy. 5 of Wands. So the 5 of Wands, we see people up for battle. So I think the 5 of Wands, this could be a few things actually, now that I'm thinking about it. When I see the 5 of Wands, I see everyday people. I don't see military. I see the public. And they're kind of battling. They're kind of battling each other, or they're getting ready to battle. And hopefully they're not battling each other because they're technically on the same side. It's really the administration against the American people, even though they want you to think it's the American people against the American people. But there's going to be some fighting going on because this guy is going to be all upset and he's probably going to throw a stink. probably going to make up a bunch of lies about why these people shouldn't be getting what they're getting. And that's going to cause people to be angry. And they're going to be ready to fight. Maybe it's more, maybe this week we'll have another No Kings. That would be interesting. This is the week of the 18th. So maybe there'll be another No Kings. This will be like another protest, or it will help people to spur people on to know that, we're not losing. This isn't the end of the fight. We can keep on fighting. So I think that's good. I think the Five of Wands is kind of getting that idea of, okay, we can do this. So the Five of Wands is also looking at that economic, social, or career areas, mad scramble for money and power, success and recognition. Struggle could also be a struggle in the marketplace. And if you think about marketplace, it could be health marketplace, right? Yeah, I mean, I think that the Five of Wands can show that the economy is a little crazy at the moment, but I also feel like because of this card, to me, shows the everyday people. I also feel like it's people standing up and saying, we feel like we have a bit more power because of the outcomes of the cups. I mean, the Eight of Swords, I wonder if this is the E-files or whether it's just people feeling, especially since it's a woman, feeling like they are stuck in a way or being held back, being held prisoner. The Hierophant, I wonder if that is the Pope saying, listen, you can't be, or even other institutions, but maybe the Pope. You can't be holding these people hostage or holding their money hostage, um, or the government is scared of people fighting. They want to hold people hostage, but they're just not going to get their way. They're going to get their funding. This guy's going to be all butthurt that they got their funding. And I think it's going to, the economy might be a little all over the place, but I also think it's going to spur people on. So then the 25th of January, last week, we got Temperance. And we have the Five of Swords. And we have the Page of Swords. The Three of Wands. And the Three of Cups. Of course there's cups. Of course there's cups. So, right, Temperance is after, in the tarot, it's after Judgment, right? I think. And of course, my little temperance person here has cups. Two cups with the water going in between, just like what we had in the beginning of the month. Huh. So that's interesting. We also have the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords shows people, this guy is collecting the swords. And there's some people in the background that are kind of, either they were just in a battle and they lost, they feel forlorn. This guy's collecting the aftermath. So this card to me always seems like somebody who's ready for a fight, or they are gathering what remains of the previous fight and they're moving on, right? They're not wallowing in what the end of that previous fight was. They're just still going on, which I think is good for the public, the American public, because it's saying whether you win or lose, you always have to pick yourself up and you just have to keep going forward. And then we have our Page of Swords. Again, naivety. But this page has a sword. This page is ready to fight. They may be a little quick on the draw because they are a page. But look, he is showing his strength though. Look at his fist. that's closed. Like he's ready to go. He did some preparation. He's ready to go. Then we have our Three of Wands. And what I like about the Three of Wands is this person is ready to go on a journey. They are looking at that mountain that may look like it's like it's a hard hill to climb, but they are looking at it because they've made the decision that they are going to go forward with their plan and they're going to climb that hill. And then in the end, we get the Three of Cups. We got some mermaids here. They're very happy because the cups, I mean, the Three of Cups, they're kind of sharing in that I don't know if I want to say an emotional uprising or an intuitive uprising. It's good. Um, they are happy. They have, they don't have all the cups in the world. They don't have the 10 of cups, but they are happy for these cups. They are celebrating. So this is good. I see like it could maybe it's a small celebration, right? There's the battles and then there's the war. I think battles are being won is basically what this is saying. Um, and so I think what it means is that the American people are winning small battles, and that is good for us. Just want to check in on temperance again because I always feel like there's always something I'm missing. I'm always like, So the world is after judgment. So temperance is after justice, right? I think. No, hanged man is after justice. Ah, jeez. Forget what I said. Oh, is temperance after death? Yeah, that's what it was. Temperance is after death. Okay. So temperance is after a big change. Um, so it's talking about moderation and patience. So that's good. It's saying that, and it's showing the cups. They're getting ready to fight, I think. And it also could mean that the stock market or the maybe not the stock market, but the economy is a little crazy, but have faith and have temperance, have patience. Things will work out. Make sure you're making a plan. You're collecting your resources. You're collecting knowledge and you're collecting resources so that you can start another battle and you can start strong. You will have you'll have big plans. It's not going to be easy, right? For the American people, it's not going to be easy. You have a big hill to climb. But if you do that, you're going to have a little celebration there. It's not a huge celebration, but it's the start of something great. So a battle is won that'll only help us to eventually win the war. So then going into February, we'll see what else we got to battle. But I think technically that is January for me. That's how I see it. I hope this helps in some sort of way. I think what I feel like I get with all of my readings pretty much is the idea of tenacity. You have to stick with it. You can't get sad. You can't feel like you've lost the war before the war is even over. It's exhausting, but the American people have to stick with it and they have to protest. They have to come together. We just have to have faith and we have to have strength and we have to have courage. And I think that's what a lot of my readings, they just point that out, I think, continually. So I think that's important for us. You just got to stick with it, right? Not everything is solved overnight. You think of big historical battles. You think of like, the whole World War II, that wasn't solved overnight. that was definitely not solved overnight. We're not in World War II right now, but there's a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Similarities that we can see when it comes to leadership. So that's a little scary, but I think we are stronger than leadership. We have more say, and we just got to keep going.